Hello, and welcome back to another episode on Farming Simulator 25. We are continuing where we left off from the last episode. The only difference is, before I could advance the month into October, I had to finish rolling the fields that I forgot that my AI worker was planting. For some reason, I was thinking, oh, you know what, I'll just roll the fields after I advance, not realizing everything's going to germinate, and then I can't roll the fields anymore. So after I ended the episode off screen, I went ahead and rolled all the fields. I waited for the last field behind us, field 6, to be planted. I believe it's field 6. Yeah, field 6, just below us. Went ahead and rolled that, and then I realized our bakery was going to run out of flour, so I went and loaded some flour pallets onto our trailer and delivered that to the bakery as well, so I would have enough. This is the final field we have to do anything on for the fall. Our only option now is to save up some money and buy a field that we can use in the spring to plant some oats, or sorghum if we get a planter. After we're done planting this field, I'll need to go ahead and roll it really quick, and then, well, that's pretty much it for the fall planting. Then we need to start prepping for winter, filling our sawmills. Probably have to deliver some more flour to the bakery before we advance the episode. I'm not sure how many pallets or liters of flour we're going to burn through every single day, but I'd like to keep it topped up if we can. I will go ahead and do all of this on a time lapse so that you don't have to sit here and watch me plant and then roll this field. So I'll see you guys in a little bit when we're done. Welcome back. Well, we just finished planting and rolling this field. After I was done planting, I went ahead and repaired the tractor and the planter. And since I was down here, I went ahead and refilled it as well in hopes that we can plant in the spring. Either way, I just figured it was cheaper to refill while I was down here than back on my farm. While we're here, I'd like to repair these as well. I do want to stay on top of repairing and keeping everything repaired. So I'd like to do this more often. For a little bit I didn't, just because I wasn't sure if I was going to have the money to buy everything I needed. But we're sitting on a little bit of cash right now, so I figured, you know what, might as well start upkeeping everything while we're here. I will fill up on gas real quick while we're close to the station before we head back up to our yard. Now, I don't know if you noticed while I was looking at the map, pretty much all of our fields have weeds on them. And that's a massive difference from the previous season where we had no weeds whatsoever. Now all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, we have so many. I wasn't really planning on weeding today, but it has to be done, so we're gonna do it. If I don't do it now, I think they'll get too big and I'd have to go buy a sprayer and then spray the weeds. And to be honest, I'd rather not do that. I think I would rather just use the hoe and pull them out completely. I think that's a much better way to do it, as well as more environmentally friendly, I guess. Then, you know, throwing a bunch of chemicals on it. Gotta make sure my bakery is making the best bread in the city. Well, to be fair, it's the only bakery in the city, so. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and head back to the yard. We'll throw the hoe on the back of this one. And I'm gonna set the worker on our white tractor to hoe the fields real quick, while I guess I need to start cutting wood and refilling our sawmills. I don't want to do a lot of time lapses, but unfortunately there's a lot of work to do, and even just planting that field that we did and rolling it took anywhere from 45 to 50 minutes to do of real time. For you guys, hopefully it'll be just a couple minutes. Well, it'll probably still be like a 3 or 4 minute long time lapse. That's better than the 45 or 50 minutes. You know what, while I am here, I do want to check the grass field really quick. So, growth stage 2 of 4. A yield bonus of 97%. I wonder what I'm missing that would bump it up to 100. It is fully fertilized. As a matter of fact, all of our fields look fully fertilized, so we don't need to worry about fertilizing anything now. Not sure. I'm not sure when winter officially kicks in, because I know that the grass does not grow over the winter. So we might get one more growth stage in November, but well, let's check real quick. There's no point in guessing, right? So it looks like we will get one more growth stage in November, but December, January, and February, we won't get anything. Interesting. I guess that means I should be able to get 2 cuts off of that grass field while it's fully grown. And at 29 bales of silage per cut, that's pretty good. I put too much stuff in here. You know, as slow as this thing goes back in reverse, it is nice because it's so much easier to steer stuff and park it properly. You know, as I mess up, as I say that, that's just perfect timing. Then on some of the tractors that go back really, really fast because it's so easy to lose control. Alright, we're going to go ahead and leave that there. We'll grab the hoe, which is right here. Alright, let's see which field we should start with. Well, the field right in front of us, 28, doesn't seem to have any weeds. So we'll start with 29, we'll work our way down to 33, 32, and then back towards 27 and 25. 6 doesn't have any weeds, and 1 doesn't yet, but we just planted 1. Let's go ahead and put this on a worker. And we should check this real quick. So right now we have a yield bonus of 75%. Let's see what happens after we weed. These are 90% of the way through fermenting, just about. We have plenty of straw. When is the best month to sell straw? I think it's like January. Nope, December. Well, it's coming up. Alright. I'm not sure what to cut down from here. I would like to cut something down because I think the next month, once we advance, I can't drive on this field anymore. And to be honest, this looks like a pretty darn big tree here. So let's cut that down and take it. And we'll take it down to this sawmill right here in our yard before we head up to the big sawmill. Except, it would have been good if I grabbed the winch. Drove right past it. Alright. I guess I'll have to move, yeah, I'll have to move some of these mushroom pallets out of the way. I'm sure they got some that aren't spawning. And we have some new lettuce pallets that have spawned. Go ahead and grab this tree really quick. Pretty steep up here. This should be pretty big. Hopefully it's not too big that I have to cut it into two pieces. If I can drag it out in one piece, that'd be great. Remove the stump. Let's attach this, and this should fill. Nope, too big. Alright, let's try this. Here we go. Let's just winch it in a little bit so it's not flying all over the place. I was hoping to do it all in one trip, but it looks like it's going to be 2 or 3 trips. I'm not sure how many limbs fell off of that when I cut it. And we'll have to see if this fills up the entire small sawmill. Then we're going to head up into our forest area, and we need to chop down a ton of trees around the road and make a lot more room for our trailer there. We have a much larger trailer with this big rig truck here, so we're going to need to make some room for that. Alright, we just need to push this in a little bit. Let's see if we can get it in there. Alright, that is too big. So let's cut it down into pieces. That's crazy how one tree can literally, just fill this entire sawmill up. So that brought it up to 8,000 liters. We're going to clean this up just a little bit in the hope that it makes it easier to put in there. I'm going to actually cheat a little bit and use super strength to drag this in. But apparently I can't use that while I have a saw out. Let's see if any more. Oh, that's nice. Those limbs went. Okay, I wonder if that's gone ahead and filled it up completely. No, it hasn't. Really? These small branches here are too much, huh? There we go. I've never seen an extra pallet spawn there before. Interesting. Alright, that makes 0 sense to me. So that branch there would not go in. But when I cut it, one of the branches went in, plus the bottom part. And then when I dragged the other branch in, it went in as well. So it means obviously they could go in. That just, it makes no sense. I don't get how the triggers work. You know, as one unit, it was too much wood. Once I cut it, no problem. Individually, they can all go in, and there's still extra left in there as far as what it needs. I'm going to go ahead and tie these up and bring those to the small sawmill down here as well. And then I'm going to head up to our sawmill up there in our forest, and I'll go ahead and do that on a time lapse. So I'll see you guys when we're done. Welcome back. I think I'm going to pause the filling of the sawmill here. We do have almost 70% filled already. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the rest of it off camera. I'm going to go ahead and chop down pretty much all of these trees. So that way next time it comes time to fill the sawmill, I just need to run up, you know, latch onto a few of them and then winch them in, and then that's done. So I'm going to pretty much chop down everything, so that way it's just, it can just be dragged in. I'll make it a lot faster process. I know a lot of people don't like to watch a lot of the forestry where the trees are being cut down, especially as a time lapse, because there's a lot of movement and running around. Let's make sure that I got all the weeds here. Did. So I'll just do most of that off screen, and that way when it comes time to refilling the sawmills, it's a simple process of just you know, running up, latching onto a few, and you know, just pulling them in. That way it is like, you know, a huge time lapse. It'll be a lot quicker. It'll actually be a lot faster as well once I can get most of those trees into the sawmill and processed into wood. I can go ahead and plant my own trees in that, you know, in that vacant area, and now I'll end up doing oak. It's the fastest growing tree in this game. I think it's like 24 months and it's fully grown, and they're massive. You know, not only do they grow really fast, but it's so much wood, 1 or 2 trees will fill up that sawmill. And that's just fantastic. And that's just a really quick process once that's all done there. It is kind of neat to see weeds in these fields. Like, you know, the only time I've been able to use the hoe is on a contract, and now I can actually really use them in my own field, you know, minus a couple little dinky things here and there. That's kind of cool. I don't feel bad about purchasing the hoe. We've made a lot of money from contracts from it. The hoeing contracts are phenomenal. They're really fast, they're decent, you know, paying, and you can stack 2 or 3 or 4 of them really quick and get a nice little payday. But it's even better to be able to use in my own fields because, you know, at the end of the day, I'm like, oh, cool. I needed to do it anyway, and this is probably the fastest and most efficient way of doing it, outside of spraying everything. But like I said before, I'd rather not spray unless I have to. To me, this seems like the most eco-friendly option. Welcome back. We are just about done with the weeding. I don't think there's anything else left. What I will do is I'm going to leave the tractor here in case field number 6 or number 1 needs some weeding as well. That way it'll be just a little bit closer and it'll be ready. I think the only thing left to do is let's check out the bakery and see how it's doing. Still got 12,000 liters of flour in there, plus an additional 4,500 liters of rice flour. That's good. It's cranking out bread, but bread isn't sellable until December. Grain mill still has a little bit of rice and a little bit of barley left. Once that runs out, we'll turn off that production aspect of it. Still got a ton of wheat, which is good. Greenhouses are doing all right for water. In the next month, we'll go ahead and refill it again. Not bad. Actually, how many pallets of flour do we have? So we got 13 pallets of flour in the background, plus an additional 4 pallets of rice flour. So 19 pallets to deliver. I think we'll be able to do that in the morning of the next episode. What I will do is I'm going to go ahead and stop the episode here. It's a pretty good place to end. And off camera, I'm going to chop down all those trees up there so they'll be prepped to drag in there, and I'll probably go ahead and refill that sawmill all the way up, kind of clear the road a little bit. I might load these pallets, and then at the beginning of the episode we'll drop these flour pallets off to the bakery as well at the beginning of the next episode. Let me check to see if our used tractor has come in. It has not. In that case, thank you everybody for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, go ahead and press the like button and subscribe if you have. And hopefully, I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.